Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Runaway Guys Colosseum. This time, it's Steven's Tabletop Mystery. But it's a mystery no longer because it is the extraordinary adventures of Baron Munchausen, which is an improv storytelling game. And this first round is going to be composed of Josh, Tyler, Tom, and myself. So, yeah, there will be many.
There will be many mistakes.
So I'm going to quickly explain how this game works. It is the 18th century, or sometime close to it. Historical and scientific accuracy aren't really that important to this game. The four of us are extraordinary adventurers. We've traveled the world, we've done all sorts of incredible things, and we've met up at a pub to talk about our astounding adventures. Tyler is having water. So the four of us are talking about these adventures, and each of us are going to turn to the person next to us and say, well, tell me about the time you did this. And those times were written by you, so we have no idea what it is you're going to tell us to do, but we're suddenly going to have to roll with it and tell a story that you came up with. Now, while we are telling this story, the other participants can interject. They can actually interrupt our story. And they can say, well, wait, what about this? How did this happen? It is then up to the storyteller to incorporate that into their story. If they do successfully, they get to spray the challenger in the face with water. If they don't, then the challenger gets to spray them in the face with water. And we're going to see if we can make this work. Earlier I gave an example of how did you defeat the French army using only a baguette. So a good challenge might be, but wait, wouldn't the baguette have broken? That'd be a good challenge. Or, wait, aren't you allergic to bread? That'd be another really good one. So we're just going to get started here. We haven't read these, obviously, because you just sent them in. And we're going to see how it goes. So, we've all come up with some really amazing names. I'm going to start by introducing myself. I'm Lord Bunyan of Scooterville. I'm worried about this one, but go ahead, Tyler.
Hello, my name's Rassner, and I am from the Polish dynasty.
Red mic? We good? Okay. Hello there, my name is Reginald Isaac Benjamin Clark Alexander Gerald Edwards, but most people refer to me by my initials.
Ribcage. Ribcage.
Hi, I'm Bup.
All right, so I'm gonna be the first one up. So Josh has actually looked through your donations. He's read through them and chosen one that he wants to ask me. While this game is going, you guys can continue to donate. It's a $25 incentive to come up with a story prompt, and it'll get thrown into the pool so people can choose. Josh, would you like to ask me about my fantastic adventures?
I would love to, Steven. Zodoman donated $25 for this message. Zodoman. He says, how did you manage to ward off those witches using only a dead chicken and a fishing rod, Steven?
Oh, goodness, that's a great tale.
I would love
the dead witches with the... I remember very clearly
fishing
the
rod.
fishing rod. The fishing... What was the other thing that I used?
Dead chicken.
Dead chicken and the fish to ward off
the witches.
the wishes. Yes, that is a...
Witches.
Yes, and it was witches because there were in fact 3. This was just a few years ago. I was...
No, wait. If I remember correctly, there was actually 300 witches.
Water bottle. You know, memory has not been super kind to me, but you're absolutely right. There were 300 witches, Brasser. Yes, there were 300 witches. And that's actually a tale in and of itself. You see, I had just attended the Witch Convention. The Witch Convention of Canterbury. And, I thought that I had been friendly to the witches. But in fact, I had used a word that was only usable by witches, for witches, and that got me in a great heaping heap of trouble. So as I was escaping...
Well, wait a minute, Lord Bunyan.
Oh, God, yes.
Didn't all these woes come to play because you tried to seduce as many as you could at that convention?
That's slight hearsay. As it was only 10 at one time. There were a few others. And I must tell you, Ribcage, it was the 10 that I was going for. They were less witchy than the others. The one, Florence, which was her name. She was the leader of the witches, and she was a wonderful woman creature. Anyway, after I had used this terrible word and they were chasing me out of the convention, I ran by a nearby farm, and while I was at the farm, I noticed a man who was standing there fishing on a dock. So I ran up to him and I said, "Sir, I have a bit of an issue. If you hear that stampede behind me, that happens to be 300 angry witches. If you've ever heard the sound of witches, they're not very happy folk.
They're cackly.
They cackle a lot." So after reasoning with this man, I was able to grab his fishing rod.
Now hold on a minute. I think we need some more detail here, because wasn't that his great grandfather's fishing rod, and he had no intention of parting with it at all for whatever reason whatsoever.
Yes. Yes, that man was in fact a famous fisherman, John McFisher. And it was his grandfather, John McFisher older, Senior. John McFisher Senior, who had won the biggest fishing competition in all the land just 10 years prior. I had to reason with him. I had to say, I also enjoy fishing. Fishing for men. For I am a servant of the Lord, and it would be a terrible travesty for you not to hand over that fishing rod right now. Don't question this. This part of the story is very true. So he said, "I understand. I also am a holy man." He gave me the fishing rod, at about which time the witches were approaching. They gathered around me, including Florence, who was very angry about what I had said and also what I had done to her sister. So as they were all standing around, I said, "Wait! What's that there on the ground?" And they all turned around. I cast my fishing rod, grabbed onto a chicken by the neck, pulled it into the crowd, and as it died, it laid in a pool of blood around the witches, and the witches looked and said, "That is our one weakness, because it is a well-known fact." Which fact? They hate dead chickens. And it was in that moment they all said, "We apologize. Have a wonderful day." And they left me in peace from that moment forward.
Now hold on a second. What was the word?
Witchy bitchies. And that is my story. Thank you very much.
Oh. Wait, hold on a second. But you forgot to leave out the part about all of this, about how you now own the corporation Witch Sandwiches.
We were talking about Witch earlier.
Me and Florence got back together. We've been happily married for 32 years. We started Witch.
By the way, that convention of witches is called WitchCon.
The one important aspect that I forgot to
Which
mention
con was that?
is that we have to pass the iPad, so Tom will have a chance to give you your prompt.
Oh God!
But he'll just give it to you very quickly.
Oh, I'm doing the prompt next. Okay,
You're doing the prompt next.
Okay.
Tom is going to choose.
I will do my best. This is going to be
Tom is going to give you your prompt.
I can't wait to heckle.
Yeah, please do.
Hashtag witchy bitchy.
So tell us, Bob. May I see that?
Bub.
So tell us, Bob. You're holding it up to your name
No,
tag.
that's the wrong one. Never mind.
So tell us, Bob. from Bearlink for $25. How did you manage to escape the Tower of London using only a Gutenberg printing press?
Oh, wow. Well, well, first of all, it's a tall tale. we'll start there. The Tower of what now?
London.
The Tower of London. The Tower of London with a printing press. Well, first of all, it was very difficult to move that printing press all the way to the top of the tower. But by the time I got there, am I escaping from the tower or getting in? I've already forgotten the entire prompt.
As I recall it, Bup, you were first trying to get the printing press into the tower to show it off to the mayor? Is that? I believe that's
Yes,
how
the
it
mayor
went?
of
I believe
London.
it's what you typed using the printing press that made everybody so angry in the first place.
Yeah, I typed a letter to
can shoot us
the
now.
President of the United States. Wait, who am I? Here we go. I wrote a letter to the President of the United States at the time, requesting that he send armed forces to London to help me remove the printing press from the Tower of London. Unfortunately, the mayor of London got upset that I contacted the United States instead of the Prime Minister of England. What country is London in again?
Yes.
Hang on.
Yes.
Sorry, England.
England is my city.
So he got upset, and so, talking him into sending. So I tried to talk him into sending the. Oh, I can't remember the.
You were talking the
English
president.
Guard, maybe?
Yes, thank you. With the fuzzy hats, those guys. They helped me come and pick up the printing press. I don't know why I'm picking it up instead of just.
You were escaping the tower with it, but that was because the tower caught on fire. I recall I was standing nearby at the nearby witch that me and my wife had recently started, and I remember looking up and seeing you in the window, moving the printing press.
I'm
All
done.
right.
No, keep going, because I seem to recall it was an enchanted Gutenberg printing press, and the letters that follow
Who the hell is Gutenberg?
Have you not heard of the Gutenberg Bible? The first thing ever printed on a printing press. Massive thing that Bible was, as was the printing press. Good luck moving it.
That's a fraud!
I don't believe you, Bob.
You were my hero! You lied!
However, I do believe it was an enchanted printing press, was it not? And the letters that fell out led a trail straight to you. It did not want to be captured.
Wait, am I capturing the printing press? Okay, so I
Oh, you're Bupper River now.
the jingle there sounded perfectly.
I don't even remember what I'm getting.
I'm
to.
pretty sure he was hit in the head with the printing press and forgot all memory of this whole
I'm so
entire
glad
situation.
that my friends are better at improv than me because this is way funnier.
You were escaping the Tower of London with
Right,
the printing press.
escaping the Tower of London with a printing
Yes.
press. Okay, so fortunately I had a printing press, so I could write. A printing press is so useful for escaping a tower. I'm telling you right now. I'm going to print out so many pages. I'm going to tie them all together and use them as a rope to climb down the side of the tower. That's what I did. I'm not going to do. That's what I did in the past.
I'm actively there.
I'm active. And so when I was scaling down the side of the tower, the wind was blowing quite fiercely, and it was honestly the most terrifying moment of my entire life. And I thought for sure I was gonna die.
I kind of wish you did.
Bad, Tyler, bad. Anyway, I got to the end of the rope and ran for it. Cool. Thank you for putting up with that. I'm so sorry.
It wasn't enchanted.
It wasn't a Oh, that's right. You're right.
All right. I'm very excited to hear your story about something, Ribcage.
Yes, why, thank you. I do believe it'll be quite the yarn.
Give me one moment.
Barkeep, another round while Brazzer here attempts to remind us all of my exploits.
Brazzer seems a little moist.
Well, if we're ordering drinks, he's a little dry.
Oh, that's it, yes.
Oh, yes, I remember now. I remember. Ribcage, I just really wanted to hear that story again about how you managed to defeat that killer demon tree by singing opera.
Who suggested it?
That was suggested by Brian X88. Thank you, Brian, for rejogging my memory.
Ah, yes, the killer tree in the opera. What a time that was. Why, it was a beautiful sunny day as I was taking my gal out for a lovely, lovely picnic. We sat under the tallest oak tree in the estate possible and just looked out over the horizon. Everything was going swimmingly. But, unfortunately, the tree had other ideas. A branch came swinging down, swept up my maiden and kept her locked up within the knothole on the tree. You know those things?
Where the owls live.
Where the owls live, yes. There were owls as well, yes. We'll get to those later.
I'm looking forward to
Somebody
it.
spray Tyler.
But yes, my maiden dear, Angie, was dreadfully frightened, screaming ever so loudly. I too was screaming, but that's beside the point. So
I'm sorry, Ribcage. She was screaming a particular word that didn't really go with the story. It seemed very out of place. But could you remind us what that word was?
Why, yes, I could, Lord Bunyan. She was screaming, "Pheasant! Pheasant! 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 Pheasant!"
She was.
Is that satisfactory, Lord Bunyan?
That's how I remember the story. Yes.
Oh, good. Had to be sure. Had to be sure.
Here.
You don't know where those mitts have been.
I don't want to.
But anyway, in my brave heroic panic, I told Angie that I would be right back with someone from the guard and possibly the fire brigade as well. So we came back, the knights in hand as well as the fire brigade, and the knights they fought valiantly to try to best this tree. But lo, its oaken branches were too firm, too hardened, and unable to be pierced by such common weaponry. As such, the archers in turn tried to take their turn, but what the hell are archers going to do against a tree? Honestly, they
stand no chance, obviously.
no, none at all. None at all. None whatsoever. But then the fire brigade came, so and they
Well, hang on. So spray me. Never mind. I lost it. I had it.
Wait, but from what I remember, fire hadn't even been invented yet.
Yes, that was later, wasn't it?
no, there was definitely fire. So the fire brigade came, and you know how fire brigade members are nowadays, so they put out fires. Well, back in those days, they just started them.
There wasn't much to do. It makes sense.
No, yes, not at all. No, they honestly they were just arsonists funded by the government, but that's beside the point. So we paid them handsomely, and they took to lighting the tree on fire. Now that you may think would have subdued the tree, but not only was the tree not subdued, it was also on fire, and my dear sweet Angie was being roasted.
Oh, and from my memory, the tree was kind of into being on fire. It was kind of into it.
Oh yes, very much so. It was you couldn't really tell because trees can't talk, but there was definitely body language going on where it was like squirming a little bit in such a pleasurable manner. So yes, indeed. Sorry for the secondhand spritzing, Lord Bunyan.
No problem.
Ribcage.
Yes, we had to get her out before the flames seared my dear Angie, keeping her juices sealed inside. So we so in order for so this is actually also the story of when the actual fire brigade turned from being arsonists to people who put out fire. Fortunately, there was a lake nearby. They were dousing buckets of lava on there, but unfortunately, they were growing weary from having carried all those buckets there. So I took it upon myself.
But wait, you used up all the water in the lake, and now the Lady of the Lake is mad at you, and she won't give you the sword to help defeat it. Are you defeating something?
You had the. Never mind.
So funny. Hold on.
Oh.
Funny story about the Lady of the Lake. Yes, she was angry in coming out, but I told her the heartbreaking story of how the cursed oak came to kidnap my dear sweet Angie, and it was and she was so touched that she's like, here, take all the water in the lake. Don't worry about it. Eventually, King Arthur will get the sword. And we were all like, didn't that already happen?
Wasn't the Lady of the Lake also an opera singer, from what I remember?
Why, yes, she was. Also,
I deserve that.
but well, I did incorporate your part of the story in there, so yes, you did deserve it. Anywho, yes. So as I was saying, we were. She was like, "There's only one way to defeat a killer tree, and that is to sing opera to it. But I can only do it in a duet." Where she tenderly grabbed my hand, and I was like, yes, I will do this. I will do this, sing opera, and we sang.
Shall we reenact it?
Yeah, actually, we shall.
As I recall, the song that you sang was "We Didn't Start the Fire."
It went something like this.
Well, it was a long time ago, so I only remember the refrain. So.
So does everyone else, Ribcage.
We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning. We didn't start the fire. And not only did the fire...
Wait. You said they were holding hands with the Lady of the Lake.
We didn't start the fire! So yes, the Lady in the Lake and I managed to not only douse the fire brigade doused the fire. The tree was quelled and my dear sweet Angie was set free. However, I'd grown a fondness for the Lady of the Lake, so unfortunately after that such a traumatic experience, I had to dump Angie on the spot. And that's how we defeated the killer tree using opera.
Beautiful.
A wonderful tale.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so at this point,
Tyler still
I have to tell you. Oh God, yeah. I was like, I did it.
Right there.
I was done. I was like, all right, Tyler, I can't wait. I'm very worried.
I'm very worried as well.
All right.
God.
Brazzer,
Oh,
Yes.
as all of us sitting here in this pub know, you like it hot.
God save us
Very,
all.
very hot.
Saibi has jogged my memory that at one point, I do remember that you ingested the hottest hot sauce known to man. No one else could do it. Where did you acquire such a thing, and how did you get it down your throat?
Oh my
This
God!
is actually one of my favorite stories to tell. I'm so happy that you brought it up. Yes. So I was actually on a
I
trip.
can't hear this. I can't hear this. I can't.
Thank God you left. So, as I recall, I was going on a trip to Norway, everybody's favorite country.
And the number one spot for hot sauces, yes.
The number one spot. Norwegian people love their hot sauces. So,
Well-known Norwegian fact.
Welcome back, Buff. I see you decided to join us after all.
why did you leave us?
Oh, we'll see.
Well, what you missed was that our dear Brazzer here went to Norway.
Yes.
Home of the hottest hot sauces.
Oh,
That's true.
yes, right. I remember that. Yeah.
So this was during my nomad days where I liked to travel completely naked. So I was walking the Norwegian beaches in the complete nude.
Well, wait a minute. What about your belongings that you carried with you? You obviously needed money to do some of these things, correct?
Oh God.
Well, as you know, humans have many orifices. I will leave it at that.
We got there. Okay. How many coins was it?
I forgot about this parade. Sorry. So I was walking the Norwegian beaches, completely naked, and I came across this caravan of little elves. These elves were called the... what was their name again? Did you remember, Lord Bunyan, from that time I told the story?
Oh, the famous Norwegian elves.
The didgeridoo.
The didgeridoos, the little didgeridoos, yes.
The didgeridoos. Yes, quite. So I came across the didgeridoos, and they were very impressed by the size of my body.
Your shoulders, I think it was. They very...
My height.
Oh, yes. Yes, Norwegians love
I'm 6'4".
Yes.
Yes, I'm a very
forgot.
tall person. They loved the size of my body.
It was built like a tree trunk. Your body was built like a tree trunk.
Very much so. So I saw them, and they were starting up this new business called Buffalo Wild Wings. It's actually really popular, I hear, quite nowadays. So
In 18th century, wherever the hell we are.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
18th century Norway did love Buffalo Wild Wings. That's true.
And the leader of the didgeridoos, Sean Evans, walked right up to me and said, I have a new flavor of hot sauce that we need to taste. But the didgeridoos did not have an acquired taste for hot things. Me, on the other hand, I have a great acquired taste for hot things.
Now, see, Browser, as I recall, the didgeridoos were actually the official taste testers of all Norwegian hot sauces. Is that not right?
Yes, but they could only go up to a certain scale before they would spontaneously combust.
Oh, that's right. My mistake. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So, I was tasting all of these hot sauces, and I forgot what the purpose of me tasting these was. What was the end goal for me?
You,
You ingested it somehow.
you ingested the hottest sauce known to man when no one else could do it, and you had to describe how you got it down your throat.
Well, now, hang on. As I recall, as they were bringing out the hot sauce, one of them tripped and spilled it on you, and you being naked and all, well, can't imagine how that would have fared.
Yes, so that is why I no longer have any genitals.
Yes, I do recall that part. It's very unfortunate, but it had to be done so you could try the sauce. Yes, of course. Absolutely. Absolutely, yes.
It was a very painful experience, but I pushed through because I knew the importance of hot wings across the world. And
That's right.
so I pushed through. So what I had to do is I had to go to the nearby maiden of Derry. And she had this special dairy concoction that lines the inside of your throat. So you can take hot sauces down your throat that nobody else could take down their throat.
Yeah, please say down your throat one more time.
So I put this concoction down my throat and walked back to the didgeridoos. And then Sean Evans held up on a fluffy pillow the hottest hot sauce known to man. I put a drip, just a single drip, and you've probably seen in the... well, never mind. I was going to reference SpongeBob, but none of us know what that is, of course. But anyways, this drop of hot sauce...
Isn't SpongeBob the gentleman who lives down at the cobbler's, who's often trying to shine your shoes for nickels?
Yes. SpongeBob the shoe shiner. He is a very kind man, but currently I had too many things down my throat to even talk about this, so I can't go on. Anyways, so Sean Evans of the didgeridoos presented this hot sauce to me, and he dripped it out of the bottle, and it was so hot that it had a face of a very evil man on it.
It was the face of Voldemort. And then you had to fight Voldemort in order to get the
Yes, that's right. Yes, there was a grand wizard, a great wizard.
Sorry. You know who?
Yeah, a wizard, an important wizard, an important wizard that was on the bottle. Yes, I remember. And you had to duel him in order to be given the option to swallow his sauce.
Oh yes, I forgot about the evil wizard. I forgot about the evil wizard sauce I had to swallow.
Yes. Yes.
So-
Fight him.
So, out of this drip of hot sauce, the evil wizard Voldemort suddenly appeared, and we went into a duel. So we pulled out our Beyblades, and we let them rip. My Beyblade was much stronger, as you all know.
But wait a minute. Didn't the copyright owner of Beyblades come and put a stop to that immediately?
No, I had permission from the copyright holder. It was a brand deal.
Wait, wouldn't I be spraying you in that case then?
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyways.
You're not pulling a fire not invented on me here.
So after beating the evil wizard Voldemort in a Beyblade competition, I secured the right to put the hottest hot sauce down my throat. The end.
That's fine. Yeah, that's
That was good.
That's fine. All right. So now that the four of us have told our stories,
I'm gonna take improv classes.
The production crew is going to put the straw poll in the chat, so you can actually vote for who had the best story, and we'll actually get a chance to see what the audience thought of our tall tales. So we'll give that.
Mine was the tallest of tails, though, because I have a large body.
Yes, I remember. A large body and not much else after that hot sauce incident.
I'm reminded of the bit from Monty Python where the Duke is trying to convince his son to marry like the woman he is, and Love's like, "What's wrong with you? She's pretty, she's rich, she's got huge tracts of land."
Someone in the chat says Josh has no votes.
I have 14 votes. So
How long does the poll run?
As long as you want it to.
Okay. They probably.
In the meantime, I believe we should reenact the "we didn't start the fire" incident.
Do we have 1,100 votes?
Oh,
Okay, so
4,000 viewers.
okay, so we should just call it and move on then.
Are we doing another round?
We're gonna
Yes.
do one more round. What time is it?
10 till 3.
10 till 3. Okay, we'll do another round with different people.
Okay.
All right. So what is our results?
The winner is.
Wait, start from the bottom.
Start from the bottom.
Final person is Josh with 38 votes.
Josh had 38 votes.
Criminally underfunded.
Gutenberg, London Tower Fire.
Then it's Steven with 306.
I had 306.
Woo! All
Thank
right,
you.
this is it.
And then it's Tyler with 497.
Tyler had 497.
And Tom with 592.
Tom had 592. Tom wins the round.
Good job.
Good job, Ribcage.
I'd like to dedicate this to my ex-girlfriend Angie.
All right. So now we're actually going to get 4 completely different people in here to play this game, and we're going to see how they do. Who is volunteering to get in on this? A lot of hands went up.
Their hands.
All right, Emil and Masay and Devin, Maryland. Which of you want it the most? Jack, Jules, or Carlos?
I'll do it.
Jack.
Okay, I'm excited about Jack.
You guys were all great.
Thank you.
Even you.
That doesn't help.
So put you guys in the same position. Okay. I'll be over here if you need anything.
Oh, okay.
Make sure. Pretty sure we did. All right. If there's any in here that are not, just mark them.
Fire not
You can shoot.
No, it was.
You may win the fireworks.
No, it was. Great.
No, it was. I can't.
Yeah. Where are they?
Yes. So I'm going to give you guys your name tags, and there should be Sharpies around.
Oh, okay, I got one.
So just, and you'll have to give everyone what your ridiculous name is.
3,000.
Man, can't wait to see naked photos of Tyler.
And Jack, let me get you one.
So you know the human Ken doll? The guy who's fit. There you go. There was like a...
Listening to Tyler see the
That
one
went
side
so
where
well.
he was gonna go, boy.
Actually, 7 minutes.
Show here.
This is not gonna take a while.
Yeah, and more people would like to go too, so she's.
She just magically like appears when Animal Crossing
Yeah,
comes.
this will take a little bit.
Are we good?
So you're gonna be choosing the prompt from a set.
Okay.
And then
Oh, I'm going first? Oh god.
just because he has the iPad.
Oh great. I sat here so I wouldn't go first.
That's improv.
Great.
I'm looking at some options.
And when you've chosen,
Why'd you give him the iPad?
when you've
You're
chosen,
gonna pick the worst one.
give it to Jack so Jack can choose headband for you.
Are we introducing everyone here
Yeah. Do you
before we go to the
Yeah. Do you want to go ahead and do that?
Alright, what Wheel of Fortune
Represent.
name does Reveal have this time?
I am Dari Foley Saint Atach.
God damn it.
Wonderful.
Hey y'all. I'm Badu Kazoo. Wait, was that my name? Yes, it's Badu Kazoo.
I'm West Couch of West. That's my name, hi. I'm
Couch West.
No, I'm West Couch of West. The westerly couch.
Gotcha.
Saw dudes. I'm Toxo the Fair, y'all. Alright, let's do it.
The western. Not
But you,
southern.
Kazoo,
What is it?
you seem like an awfully tough cookie.
I like long walks on the beach, and I like flowers.
I see that your life has softened up quite a bit after the time that Jade Jennings reminds me of that time that you crossed the mountain when your wagon broke down, you broke both your legs, and your dog ran away.
I ate my dog.
That's a real touching story.
So emotional.
Okay,
cry every
sustenance,
time.
but what about the other facets of survival?
The other facets of survival? Well, you see, I was going up the mountain. There was some nice flowers on the other end. Nice flowers. The best meadow you've ever seen in this large bowl-like thing. Tall mountain, tall mountain. I go up there, and my wagon, you know, the wheel, just shaky, not meant to go up mountains. It pops off like I thought I was going to in the middle of that meadow. And then it just rolls down the hill. It goes and it goes. I tumbled out, both my legs broken because it got stuck in a rock. Actually, both my legs were gone. I didn't have legs anymore.
Wait. What got stuck in a rock and your legs were broken from...
My legs went under the rock. I was tumbling down the mountain. Do you know how much force it takes when you're rolling down a mountain? You go flying. My legs went under and I went over. So, I needed to get over that mountain. My dog wanted to run away, you know? So, I didn't let it. It ran away in my tummy! That's what happened. So, I was kind of boned. There was nothing there. I had no legs. I tied up my legs nice and tight so I wouldn't bleed out.
Now, hold on just a darn minute here, okay?
Yeah.
You're telling me you somehow chased your dog without your legs, and then you ate him. Now, how'd you do that?
My arms are real strong.
Why is this in West Virginia?
It's in West, not West Virginia. Get it straight.
My arms real strong. Who says I can't run with my arms?
Hold on.
I read on the internet one time that you also didn't have arms at the time either. He bit your arms off as well.
That's what teeth are for.
Okay, gotcha.
I did kind of this cartwheel motion. I kind of did this. With my teeth, I buried it in the dirt and scooted myself along and just did that real fast about 1,000,000 times. I did that real fast and I caught my dog real easy.
All right, thanks, do that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Gotta get things straight. So, with that being said, this is a real steep mountain. Real steep. So you might be wondering why, or how rather, I could climb up this mountain with no arms and no legs. You see, I had glue in my wagon. So I just slathered myself in this super glue, which was just sticky enough that I could do a motion kind of like this, like an inchworm.
Now, hold on.
All the way up.
Just a dull moment here, all right? You're saying that you got to your glue bottle and you opened it with what? Your mouth? Because you don't have arms, you don't have legs.
Do you honestly think that my glue bottle would be intact if my legs weren't attached after that tumble? My wagon rolled down the hill. There was a puddle of glue. It was a big old vat of glue. All I had to do was go into that bottle, big old vat bottle, slather myself in it real good, and crawl back on out.
Now, hold on. How did you move after you got the glue on you?
Like an inchworm.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Oh God.
So,
That's the ultimate score.
She's tough.
my inchworm went up that mountain. Took me 5 days. Good thing that dog was big.
Wait, how did you go to the bathroom?
Along the way.
Spray him.
So,
That's great.
I got to my medal eventually. And that's when I buried myself deep into the earth in a cocoon and died.
The final stage of your life force.
Exactly. This here, I'm a zombie. Okay? Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
What's your question?
How did you get your arms and legs back that you have here right now, zombie?
I stole them.
Damn.
Ah. Do you want to see my stitches?
No.
Smart.
Alright, now Jack will be choosing a story prompt for dairy.
Dairy.
Dairy
fully Saint Attach.
Dairy.
Someone on Twitter asked, why is Miss Say always feral in these stories?
Pretty much.
Happens a lot.
You don't know.
Are you ready, Dairy Dude?
Dairy Dude.
Dairy Dude.
Dairy Dude.
Alright, dog. So I gotta know. From Zero Pony 55, and I gotta know. How did you threaten the richest man in London using only a sandwich?
Alright, well, first of all, the thing that you have to know is that this sandwich contained slices of pineapple in a time where pineapple was grown only in very remote islands and was worth so much money that there existed entire corporations to renting out pineapples to private parties. Real thing, look it up. So they were very sought after, and this sandwich is something that had only been enjoyed by the richest of billionaires in the world. I managed to obtain it by just simply working on one of these boats and smuggling one off during one of my shifts. And
how did you move the entire boat by yourself without any crew or help whatsoever?
no, I was on one of the crews. It was my job. I was on the boat, and I just merely managed to smuggle one off because we had stumbled upon an island where there were hundreds of them growing, and, they didn't notice if one was gone, it's just kind of, it was really easy to do. I was in the right place at the right time. I was the one guarding the stash at nighttime, and I had the privilege to do that, so, sorry, tough cookies. So I had gotten the brilliant idea that, people rented these sandwiches. People rented these pineapples, and I was thinking, what if I took the greatest thing ever, sliced bread, and I put the pineapple between that, making an even greater thing than the greatest thing ever.
Now hold on just a darn moment here. You're saying the greatest thing was sliced bread, but sliced bread wasn't invented until 2 years after your story, son.
Ancient Egypt existed after London?
Damn.
Man, he got you.
I'm just telling all the facts here. I'm the historical, I'm the history teacher.
Yeah,
So, okay.
I only know West stuff.
That's American history for you.
It's in West, sir, not America.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
We Western worldies only care about ourselves and don't learn about other countries in school. Anyway, so I had combined two of the greatest things ever, and I had made an even greater thing ever. So, these billionaires, they're often very meanies. They lobbied against us moving away from wood-based production, and I didn't really like that. Not a whole lot of...
excuse me. My best friend is a millionaire, and he's not a meanie. He's really
Billionaires are the meanies.
Yeah, well,
He's a millionaire.
Okay, fine.
So they were lobbying against us moving away from wood-based production. They didn't like this whole new metal thing that we had going on. And I took great offense to that because we could have much finer boats for getting these pineapples to the rich if we just had metal boats instead of wooden ones. So I took it down to his place, and I showed him the fruits of my efforts. Thank you, you're too kind. And I showed him, what do I got here? I got a pineapple sandwich. Have you ever seen such a glorious feat of human engineering? This too could be in the houses of every wealthy person if you just allowed us to move on.
Why would they care? Why would they care if they could make more money just renting out the pineapples themselves as decorations? Why would they care about your stupid sliced sandwich? That's a whole lot of money!
Well, you see, renting out pineapples is only... Renting out pineapples, you can only rent them out to one party at a time, whereas sandwiches, if you slice up the pineapple, can be eaten by many... Yes?
Do you know how long a pineapple keeps? They can take that pineapple back and give it to another family for another $1 billion! That's a lot of billions! That pineapple can last a month!
Well, you see, if it costs that much to do... What am I? Sayaka, whatever her last name is. Persona.
Excuse me, supposed to be doing? The shooting here?
Your accent says it all. Well, the thing is,
Hell yeah!
well, he was not a very intelligent, wealthy person, as they tend to be. So he just kind of looked at my sandwich and how great it was, and he just went, well, damn, I guess I just got to get out of town with logic like that. And so that was how metal boats were invented and how I drove the billionaires at a very historically significant event. You should look it up on Google because you will find it.
You're going to be asking the prompt of Jack.
Saw dudes.
Oh my god, it's over.
I'm about to tell you the best story ever.
All right.
All right.
So, Chuckso the Fair.
So
I got a really good question for you.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one dying to know this, all right? Because, from where I'm from, it's totally new concept.
I'll tell you what's up.
So, from Utah 248, he's asking me, around the grapevine, how did you start the world's first mosh pit? I really want to know.
All right, so I was taking a shower one day, and my water just turned off, and I don't know if I'm doing like a Western. I'm a Western guy right now.
You're not from West,
Yeah.
son.
So my water just shut off, and I was working out in the yard all day, and I was so dirty, and I had to go to a metal show that night, but I could not take this shower, and man, did I smell bad! Like it was rank.
Why did you smell so bad?
Well, I was picking flowers.
How would that make you smell bad? You should smell good. Take it from me. I climbed up a mountain. I smell great.
They were very poisonous flowers. They were very poisonous flowers, and they also smelled terrible. I live in a swamp.
And Satoxo?
And so it's a very swampy, poisonous garden, and so it made a very bad smell. And I really wanted to shower it off, but I couldn't.
Now, hold on just a minute here. Tell me more about the donkey that you started the mosh pit with, son.
Yeah, well, I was gonna get to the donkey. Yeah, so I'm at the metal show, and basically no one wants to be around me. So I'm in the crowd, and a giant circle forms around me because no one wants to smell me, except out of nowhere, from behind the bar, a donkey just jumps over the bar and gets into this circle with me, and he just starts running into me, and I'm like, this is kind of cool. I'm feeling the energy from this donkey running into me. Nobody else, there's a giant circle around me because,
The guy sounds like an ass.
Yeah, he was an ass. I was like, this guy's an ass right now. And side note, that's how the name Jackass was, because me and the ass, that started that.
Oh my god.
So, anyway, that's a cool side point.
I thought your name was Toxo the Fair.
Jack's my nickname.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So yeah, we started running into each other, and people were like, "Okay, this guy smells really bad, but I'm really enjoying watching Jack and this ass go at it in this circle."
Whoa.
And they're like, so basically, don't take that out of.
We don't do that in West, all right?
Don't take that out of context. And then suddenly people were like, there was also clothespins around, like conveniently, so people would put that on their nose. They don't do that anymore because now I can shower in the mosh pit.
Now, somebody once told me that those flowers that you rolled in were probably really, really, really toxic.
Yeah.
Did you not get that entire crowd just completely deathly ill? What happened with that?
Well, it gets a little. This is a kind of a sadder part of the story. But let's just say that death metal was invented that night.
Oh my god.
Damn!
A lot of new terms were invented that night. Jackass and death metal. So basically, people started. They grabbed their clothespins before they unfortunately passed away from the toxic flowers. They grabbed their clothespins and ran around in this circle, and we started, enjoying it. And the band was playing, and they were far enough away that they were unaffected. So they were performing, and that was the very first mosh pit. Thank you.
Amazing. All right, we got one more story from West Couch.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not West Couch. It's High. My first name is Han. West Couch is my last name, and I'm from West. Just so there's no confusion.
Hi.
Hi. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm from West. It's like dairy something.
Dairy Foley.
I'm lactose intolerant. Actually, I'm pretty intolerant in general, but especially lactose.
Well, that sure is a dairy folly.
Damn. So, how was your trip? And this is a nice bar, right? We all down for another round of drinks?
Yeah, let's
Because
go.
I'm thirsty.
Very, a lot of turbulence on the carriage.
Watch out for any bar donkeys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have none of those over in West. They sound pretty rank.
Okay. So, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
And this is very on topic.
All right, I want to hear it. Lay it on me.
Epic Guitar 64 wants to know how you robbed the number 5 train with only 5 bullets, only 5 men, with 5 lawmen on your tail, and doing so in only 5 minutes.
Well, I'll tell you straight up, all right? The number 5 train wasn't the train I was supposed to get on, all right? That was a total accident. You see, I woke up late that morning, all right? Kind of had a lot to drink the night before. Actually, it was way too much. So I woke up, had a drink. It was only like 3 drinks, okay? It wasn't really too much.
Wait, isn't it true that you told me last week that you only you're such a lightweight that you pretty much pass out after 1 drink? How did you drink 3 drinks?
I was just crapping on you, son. I can handle my drinks.
Oh, okay. Okay, do I spray myself?
No, you spray me.
Oh, okay.
That part of the story is true.
Okay.
I drink a lot, all right? If you heard that, you'd be mistaken.
Okay.
So, the number 5 train, I was supposed to get on the number 4 train, right? It was just kind of one of those things. So, I ended up having 3 or 4 drinks, and then I go over to the train station, and I try to explain the situation. They're like, sorry, the number 4 train, it's sold out. So I'm like, damn. So I go back to the bar, and I hear all these fine gentlemen. They're talking about getting on the number 5 train. But the problem was they bought 5 tickets. They had 5 people in the party, but someone else just had to sleep in. It was probably a drummer, right? They're always doing that. We got the metal, but we got plenty of drums. So it was just one of those unfortunate things. So I go over to them and say, hey, fellas, see, I missed the number 4 train. I hear you guys talking about the number 5 train. Is there any way I can get in on that? So they look at me with some suspicion, but they notice my incredibly mighty beard, which I've long since shaven after what happened here. So they go, yeah, we can get you in on this. So the plan starts. Now, this is not where the 5-minute timer is, because we haven't boarded the train yet. They just started looping me in on this, So I tell them I'm from West. I tell them my name's Hi-On. And they're like, hey, Hi-On. Nice to meet you. So we start hatching this scheme after about, I don't know, maybe just 1 more drink or so. So we then go to the train station.
What's your middle name?
My middle name? We don't have middle names in West, okay? We have 2 last names. If that makes sense. Like, I don't know. My first name is Hi I'm. My second name is West Couch. I'm from West. You wouldn't understand West things. What's your middle name, Bijou?
I'm looking at your tag here, and your first name is Hi I'm. Your last name is Of West Smiley Face, and your middle name is West Couch.
No,
It is in the middle.
that is absolutely false.
I thought I heard that your middle name was Sitting on the.
Sitting on the... Take that back. It is not. And I'll have you know, fellow Westerner, of West. That's so people know where I'm from. This ain't my middle name. Take that back. Ah! So, damn! Alright, so, we get to the train station, we roll up there with no confusion over our last names or middle names. These gentlemen are fine, alright? I don't care if they're from West, South, if they're from England, London, France. I don't want no Americans, though. Just saying, you know, they're with the donkeys, right? I don't know. It's kind of weird. So, anyway, we get to the train station, and we get on the number 5 train, all right? Because we have this plan. We have all 5 of our tickets. This guy runs over. He's like, "Hey, fellas, I'm here." It's the other guy who slept in late. So we're like, shoot, we already have our plan in place. We just run on the train, because at this point, cover's blown. So we get on the train. There's 5 minutes, because they have one of those like, it's a thing with the numbers on it and the hands, and it tells you the time. It was new. We don't have those kind of things in West, but it's one of those things that apparently is used for keeping track of time. So we get on there, and there's like a limited amount of time. So we're like, all right, so who has the gun? And then we all look at each other like, shoot, Larry had the gun. He's the guy who slept in late. He's running over there. So that ends up shaving off about 2 minutes. We have to run over to him. He still has a pint of beer in his hand, along with his gun, in the train station. And we're like, all right, give me the beer. So we take the beer. I have like pretty much about half of it, you know. Okay, maybe the full thing. So we're down to about 3 minutes left before the train departs. And
I thought alcohol wasn't allowed in a train station.
you know what? Guns weren't either. It didn't stop me. It didn't stop me.
Everyone has guns.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right about that. So that's when the security came over, and they're like, hey, you can't take alcohol in. So that's why I drank it, I'll have you know, because when there was no alcohol, they couldn't arrest me for carrying alcohol. Damn. All right, so we got about 3 of these minutes left, and we got the gun. It's got the 5 bullets on it. We got to get this whole train going. So we board the train. We get on. We tell everyone to get off. There's a mosh pit over at the stadium, so they run over there, and they think it's cool. I hear later it was to die for, so we'll definitely miss that one. But we get on this train. We're riding, and it's like, oh, man. We got 5 bullets. We got to use them to get off of this thing. We got to get away with it. But then I realized I could buy a lot of booze with all this money. And there's like 4 other guys on the train, plus the driver. I don't know why the driver started. I mean, you know, you'd think with everyone getting off, like, he would have gone to the mosh pit. Apparently he doesn't like music or something. Like, I don't know. Not gonna ask. So, with his gun, it's got its 5 bullets in it. I go over, I say, hey, buddy, you need to get off the train. And he's like, I'm driving right now. Can't you just go back to your seat? I'm like, no, everyone's off the train already. So, you know, I had to take over, let's say. So the train's driving on autopilot, and...
Wait, hold on. Trains did not have autopilot back then. That is a new feature. How did you learn how to drive this train so well? It's not, you have to go to school for that.
I'm gonna tell you what I meant when I said autopilot, son. I meant the train driver may have been removed from the game, if you know what I mean. So that was one of them bullets. That was one of them there bullets. Here's where the bullet number 4 went. I go over to my friend, and I'm like, well, he was a new friend, you know. He was the one who, well, it wasn't Larry's friend. It was the other guy. And I said, hey, I kind of want my booze money, so nothing personal. All right, so I got 3 bullets left in this pistol, you know. So I go over, well, it was a revolver, but whatever the case. So I go over, I see the other 3. They're like trying to find all the money and whatever everyone brought onto the train. I was looking for the booze, like I don't care. I overslept. I just wanted to get to further west, you know. It's just wanted to go on vacation. There's more drinks there. So I'm like, hey guys, I kind of want all this money for myself, so pop, and I missed the 3rd one because I had, like, the beer has been kicking in at that point. So he pulls out his gun, and I'm like, damn. So he shoots me. I end up, like, falling on the floor. I can't get up because I am just drunk, son. I am floored, literally. So at this point, the autopilot, it kind of has a bit of a rough patch, so he ends up falling down to the ground too. He drops his gun. I pick it up. I find out it's just full of water. So none of us have any bullets or anything at this point. So at that point, I'm like, you got any scotch on you? We have all the money here. Let's just get into town. Nothing personal. And he was cool with it. I was actually surprised. So we talked about it. We talked about Larry that we left behind. This guy, he was a piece of work. So, long story short, we got away with it. And, well, I ended up giving him a swirly in the bathroom. He didn't make it after that, so I got all the stuff. I got away with it.
And you expect us to believe everybody disembarked the train in 5 minutes?
Yeah, it was a really empty train.
Because you said there were 3 minutes left before that happened.
Yeah, you're right. So at that point, there were like maybe 6 or 7 people on, but they were all going to a metal concert anyway, which was weird because it was in further west. But they heard there was one at the stadium there, so they're like, yeah, we're going metal! So...
metal doesn't sell out stadiums. What metal show was this?
It was like Toxic something. And you know what? You don't know people from West. They don't know about metal. So they had to try it out. They were looking for it, man. All right, I think I'm out of bullets here. So we got out, and after I gave Ben, weird name, after I gave him that swirly, I noticed that he didn't have his head afterwards because toilets, they were actually guillotines back in the day. It was kind of weird. It was a very disturbing swirly. So that's how I got away with it, and I ended up getting the train in 5 minutes. It was weird, but it was great. West Side.
All right, so we're gonna put a straw poll up for our 4 storytellers here, and let you guys vote on their damn stories. So you can vote now.
I think this is pretty good, actually.
This is funny.
Good lord.
I didn't run too late. Oh man, I just got into it. And it's like, oh shoot, 5 minutes? Alright.
Are we on right now? Like, can you hear?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
They can hear you.
I gotta tell you something after.
Oh nice.
Cast your vote.
I'm speaking in my wherever this is accent now.
Looks like it's pretty close.
These are nice.
Keep.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we probably have enough to do a round with like 2 people. There'll be 2 other people. Like I can like be a challenger, but we probably have like.
Oh yeah. I
mean, who hasn't played yet that wants to play? Jules and Carlos.
Yeah.
Tim, you want to play?
I'll sit
if you guys can do faster stories, we can get through the three of you, but they'll have to be a little quicker. There's still 30 minutes? Okay. We'll do the three of you, and then Tom, would you like to be a challenger?
Sure.
You're a good challenger. All right. Let's go ahead and cut the voting there. What's our totals? Or what's fourth place?
Fourth place is Emil with 239 votes.
Emil with 239 votes.
It's not Josh.
Fourth place.
He gave up.
Third is Jack with 363.
363, Jack.
Represent.
Then second is Maryland with 385.
385, Maryland. Second place.
First place Say with 446.
446. Very, very nice. All right, we're going to get Family
I'd like
Jewels,
to dedicate
Insane in the
this to
Rain,
my
and Nintendo
legs.
Capri Sun up here to tell some slightly quicker tales.
I'm gonna go pick some swamp flowers now.
And I'm gonna bring Tom back as a challenger.
I'm gonna find me a doggy.
How do your throats not hurt?
All right. So
Cause we're from West, son.
We
are indeed from West. Okay. Oops, sorry.
Top squat right here.
There are Sharpies floating around.
There's one at your feet, Tim.
There's one.
God.
And
the whole time I was like, Maryland sounds exactly like Alex Jones. I was like, damn, the globalist.
if you want to look at the things, you'll be asking Carlos first.
I really want to know how you pronounce that.
Huh? Sure. As a reminder, we are raising money for Direct Relief. They are the awesome sponsors of this event, bringing money to folks in need all over the world for various catastrophes and just folks that need it, bringing supplies to them and funds. What on earth was that? So be sure to continue to donate. There is still time to get in some $25 donation incentives. Jules is looking through them right now, and Jules is going to have to look through them, and Tim and Carlos. So if you've been on the fence about submitting, there is still a chance to do so. So send in $25 and an idea, and it could be as wonderful as the creation of the mosh pit. It's my personal favorite from last round. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. Do you guys want to introduce your names and who you are?
Hello, fellow 18th century gentlemen. My name is Johann von Johann.
Call you Jan for short. Sure.
Indeed, it is nice to be around with you all in this 18th century establishment. My name is Leviticus the Precipitous the Fourth.
So he sweats a lot.
Indeed. Very much so.
Nice. Hi, I'm Supermarket.
And you all remember me, Ribcage.
Oh, returning champion.
Champion Ribcage.
Am I asking?
You are asking Carlos.
You mean
Leviticus
Leviticus the Precipitous the Fourth.
Leviticus? I was chatting with my friend Wee, who
I know the fellow.
Donated $25 to Direct Relief. Wee wants to know how you barely escaped getting guillotined, despite inventing the actual guillotine yourself.
Well, I must inform you that the guillotine was not originally invented with the intent of being used for the decapitation of the human race. It was, in fact, invented for the quick preparation of vegetables. You may ask yourself, in these trying times of the 18th century in which food takes many hours to prepare, how on earth am I to cut all these carrots, celery, rutabagas, various vegetables, and other fruits that need to be chopped up? And my solution was to invent the guillotine. A large blade which could serrate and chop many vegetables with a single chop, a single release. And all these vegetables could then be placed into a pan, I do not know if the term saute was used in this era, but that is what we did. We
In
placed
France, I would assume so.
saute, indeed. So,
However, I do have one question.
How did you manage to pass this off with the safety council? This seems very dangerous and seems to have led entirely to it being used for decapitation.
I think you underestimate. In fact, I mean overestimate. I think you overestimate the intelligence of the safety council at the time. Government regulations were next to none. In fact, one could acquire such dangerous blades so sharp that looking at them would cause your eyeballs to slightly bleed.
Like so.
Indeed. So, getting back to my story about the invention of the guillotine and how I managed to managed to escape killing myself with it, despite being the person who created it. During the conception phase of the guillotine, in which I built my factory and I tested many blades, I had a visitor come, and this visitor was actually Johann. Do you remember this? Do you remember this instance when you came over to my factory?
Of course. Yes, I was there. In fact, I can't remember, but I think guillotine is short for what was it short for?
It was short for Guillerme, the creator of the We don't know how I got the name guillotine, but on the day that Johann came to visit my factory, I was creating the guillotine. He wanted to try out cutting various materials. He brought his vegetables, as was the intent, but he also brought other materials, such as small trunks of trees, various instruments that existed at the time, and other things that were closer to human flesh, such as sausages or water balloons, which resemble the fluid and flexible nature of the human skin. Before we tested vegetables and all these other things, and the guillotine worked just fine. In fact, it cut several hundred rows and rows of carrots lined up, chopped them all neatly all at the same time. And as we continued to experiment, we decided to continue trying these things that are more similar to the humans, just to see if it would have any adverse impacts on the human flesh, because this was not the original intent of the machine. As we were doing this, inebriation did occur.
As it does.
As it does in these circumstances, where we had to wait for the vegetables to be cooked after we chopped them, and during that time, Johann and I ingested many a alcoholic beverage at the time, and lost much of our sense of reason. So, because of this, it came to the point where we decided to say, you know what? Let's try it out. I said, I will literally put my arm on the line, put my life on the line, and I laid down at the guillotine.
Now, as I recall, however, weren't there plenty of members who were part of the initial start of the French Revolution present as well?
Indeed. They were there with all their weapons, their weapons and their flags.
They really wanted their food, I guess.
Yes. In fact, I neglected to mention that this testing of the guillotine was also a celebratory dinner for all of them, and they were all in the presence of the invention of this potentially harmful machine. They were very excited to have their stew complete with neatly chopped vegetables, as was promised by my creation. However, they also engaged in the drinking of many alcoholic beverages, and many. And they were not privy to the dangers of the guillotine that would become apparent as soon as I laid on the table on which the guillotine was created. So as I lay, I motioned for Johann to at this time, you had to ascend a ladder to the top of the guillotine for it to work. There was
right.
Of course, yes.
Convenience
As
was
you do with all kitchen appliances.
Indeed. Convenience was not of the utmost priority in creating this machine. We had to place the blade fairly high up for it to gather enough momentum to come down and chop at a reasonable velocity.
Right. As lettuce does.
As lettuce does. As lettuce does. You can't simply just let the knife fall from this height. You must ascend several stories, in fact, for the guillotine to come down and chop. So, as Johann summited all these stairs leading up to the top of the guillotine, the founding members of the French Revolution saw him ascending and thought, something bad might be happening. So one of these members of the French Revolution had a baguette in their hand that was in fact stale and in fact very, very hard. And they realized that one of them somehow managed to sober up and realize that if Johann were to, in fact, release the guillotine and let the knife blade come tumbling down upon my body, that it would stunt the future development of weaponry that they may use, because they realized these blades were not just good for cutting vegetables. They can cut vegetables. They can cut pretty much anything. So, this member of the French baguette bent his baguette at a 90-degree angle.
Go on.
Bent his baguette at a 90-degree angle, cocked it behind his head, seasoned it before throwing it, as one does, toasted it, and put some butter in the middle, and then tossed it at Johann.
As I recall, this was also the invention of garlic bread.
Multiple things were invented in this interaction: garlic bread, the guillotine,
the boomerang,
and the boomerang.
Right.
Subsequently, in many years, the invention through the influx of traders eventually made its way to Australia, in which they realized that bread was not the optimal material for the boomerang, and it had better aerodynamic capabilities if it was made of wood.
If I do remember correctly, the end of this story happens fairly quickly, so we can move on to the rest of the story.
Indeed.
Okay.
Indeed. The boomerang hits Johann, he falls, and I don't die.
Very good.
Johann didn't remember this because he was blackout drunk at the time.
Just one question about this story.
Indeed.
If I do recall, this was 10 years ago when you were 10 years old. So how was it that you were able to acquire these many drinks?
I recall that you helped me with that.
Oh,
I enlisted your ne'er-dwelling mind and allowed you to go to the liquor beverage store and purchase and with the endorsement of all the members of the French Revolution who were present at the event, were able to acquire sufficient beverages for us to enjoy the creation and dine on these chopped vegetables and seasoned, hard, buttered, 90-degree bent bread.
And everyone there was singing, butter it up, butter it up, butter it up, butter it up.
Also, happy birthday.
Many thanks.
All right.
Oh my God. Good one. Thank you, Leviticus.
Thank you, Leviticus.
All right. Now, Supermarket is going to ask
Johann von
Johann a question about his past.
Hello, Supermarket.
Hello. Well, do I have to say the name of the...
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I do have a question that I almost laughed out loud when I saw it. From BC 2014, who donates $25 and would like to know, why does every coin have your head on it with the letter E on your forehead?
I can't wait to
That
hear
is
detail.
really good.
Every coin.
Every coin.
So there it was.
Post-invention of the guillotine.
Just help the 10-year-old acquire drinks.
I just committed the horrible crime of bringing the 100th underage person alcoholic beverages in my village.
Wow.
I was on
You
the
missed a
run.
bit, Jiggy.
I was on the run. I kept going village to village, but the word kept spreading so quickly. They called him the underage alcohol guy. That was my name.
That was my dad's name.
I believe it.
Jesus Christ. Now, as I recall, those stories became twisted as time went on. What would you say is the craziest one that you heard?
I do remember that. Went to one town and they thought that I brought underage people absinthe. That was pretty bad.
Nice save.
Way more common in the 18th century. So the FBI was after me, and I was going village to village to village to village, and eventually I started outrunning them. I was feeling pretty good. Until I came to the town that you're from, Supermarket. I remember this very, very specifically, that it was you. And you said, you're the man who gave my 7-year-old nephew all that Bud Light.
Refresh my memory. What's the town that Supermarket's from again?
Supermarketville. He was the kid.
Get away again in Supermarketville.
Supermarket.
Exactly. You got me.
Yeah.
Dang, I was hoping they wouldn't figure that out.
So I tried to escape, but all of Supermarket's henchmen, the Quickie Mart men,
I'm very proud of them.
they all jumped on top of me. They held me down and I said, "You'll never take me alive. I will bring alcohol to every person on this planet." And then
Regardless of age.
And then I remember there was Leviticus walking over to me with dead eyes. His dead alcoholic eyes.
What have you done to me, Johann?
What have you done
At such
to
a
me?
young age, you have corrupted my innocent soul with the alcoholic beverages far more than I ever could have expected.
So then, he used a bottle opener to pop off a Coors Light bottle, which are in bottles, and chiseled the top of it. And he chiseled on my forehead, E for A. Stop giving me that alcohol, dude. Any questions?
No, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't it also... They were bad at spelling in those times, so didn't it also stand for inebriator?
Yes, inebriator, exiled for inebriating.
And as I recall, they ascertained you to a specific title of Lord.
Lord Inebriator.
Indeed.
Yeah. Let's get through these stories before the FBI comes and takes me away.
Oh, God. Well, if I might interject, well, didn't it occur that once you were caught and stopped giving children the alcohol, all the townsfolk realized just how annoying children were sober. And that's why they celebrated you by putting you on a coin with your newfound E on your forehead.
Of course, well, the coin is given out to everyone who goes through the 18th century DARE program, where you learn that it's very, very bad to be giving children alcohol.
Ah, yes, EE, Alcohol's Anonymous.
Right. The E
Alcohols
in DARE.
and enemas? Yikes!
The E in DARE is for inebriator. It's named after me.
And on that note,
Go on.
Any suitable story for Tim? Tim, here's the mic.
All right.
Oh dear.
Leviticus, the precipitous fourth, is going to quickly look through and choose a story from Supermarket's past.
Mr. Supermarket, I presume? Mr. Supermarket?
Mister's fine.
Mrs.
King
Or Supermarket.
King Lord Supermarket. A question from Radaman 8000. How did you discover the lost kingdom of Chattanooga? and loot its legendary treasures.
Oh, God, I haven't thought about that in ages. I was very young then, so I would, this is back when Mom was still around. We were hanging out at home one day, watching the usual on TV. What was that show called? Fixer Upper and Chopped were both on. We kind of alternated between those two anyway. So we had the window wide open. It's a beautiful day. 75 degrees, sunny. And we see this guy. And I know this isn't going to seem like it's relevant, but it'll work its way back around. So we see one of our neighbors walking across the parking lot. And when you look out our window, you can see the dumpster from, our window. So, we see people all the time walking out there to take the trash out. We see this one guy. He's walking along. He's going to the dumpster, and he's holding something under his shirt. And we're like, why is he holding something under his shirt? I don't know. He walks down to the dumpster, pulls whatever it is out from under his shirt, and throws it in the dumpster, and then he walks back to his apartment. And we're like, okay. He just threw something away. He obviously didn't want people to see what it was. So anyway, we didn't think much of it. We went back to watching TV, and about 5 minutes later, the same guy comes by again with something under his shirt. And he goes and he throws it in the dumpster. And
I don't mean to interject, but at that point in the day, didn't the hit sitcom That 1670s Show come on?
Yeah.
I believe it did, but she didn't like watching that because she wasn't a big fan of Leonard von Beethoven. So, oh well. Does that mean?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh well. I liked him, but we never really agreed on music tastes. Anyway, this goes on. This happens like 10 times. This guy literally makes 10 trips out in the dumpster, holding something under his shirt. So we're both curious, what is he throwing away that he doesn't want anybody to see? So that night, she had gone to bed. I was still up. I just couldn't sleep. So I went out to the dumpster myself. And it's like 12:30 in the morning. I get out there, and I look inside, and I see 10 little bags in there. And so I pull one of them out, because I'm like, I'm not going to stand out here for very long. I don't want anybody to see what I'm doing, right? So I pull one out, and I take it back to the apartment, and I open it up. There's a bunch of little comp books inside, and they each have a name on them. And they're all girls' names. And I'm like, oh, God. Is this what he didn't want people to see? And, I mean, this is kind of serious, because, you think this stuff didn't happen back then, but man, it was, I don't know, man. Anyway, oh boy. Well, anyway. Okay, so I went online, and I started Googling. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. We didn't have the internet back then, right? Actually, we did. They just didn't tell us about it.
You were a king lord, so you could afford such luxuries.
Exactly.
Internet.
That too.
King Supermarket.
It was the,
Must have been a lot smaller than...
a little bit, yeah. We didn't have monitors. We had to use rocks. And we carved things into them, and that's... And then we buried them.
You threw them in a surf to deliver to other people.
Yeah, exactly. So I send this message out with all these girls' names. Like, does anybody know what all these might have in common? Like, is there a group of them or something? So anyway, a couple days later, I get a message back.
Hold on a second. A couple days later, what was your upload rate like in the 18th century?
How did you measure that?
Let me see. Yeah, it was about 4 bytes per month. No, 5. 5. It was 5.
It used to be 1,200 surfs per day. Now
But all I was sending was names. Names are like certain letters.
In fact, is that not where Surf the Internet came from?
Oh, well.
Surf the web.
I think you might be right. I don't know.
SCRF.
I hadn't heard about that. I don't know. So, yeah, I get a message back, and it turns out that all these names are actually the daughters of someone who lives across the sea. And I'm like, okay, great. So our neighbors kidnapped their daughters, and he has them hidden in his apartment somewhere.
Again.
That's what's going on. Because I tried opening the comic books to read what was inside. They were all like little journals. and they were saying, "Oh God, I've been captured. I'm trapped in this guy's apartment. How do I get out of here?" And that's why he was throwing them away, because he didn't want anybody to know, that he was hiding girls in his apartment. I mean, this guy was crazy. I don't know. He was always a little weird. But anyway, so back to the original story here. It turns out that the parents lived in Chattanooga. And so we decided to make a road trip. So we headed down there. Me and Mom both did. And we got there, and we picked up the girls, and we decided we kind of liked it there. So we said, well, why do we want to go back to old Ohio? Who wants to go back there? So we stayed in Chattanooga, and we built our village there, all Dragon Quest Builder style. And we lived happily ever after. Us and the girls. And that's pretty much it.
And the treasure was Chattanooga that they found.
Yes, it was, totally.
Them all along.
Exactly.
And that's how chatting was invented.
Oh my
They talk
God.
about internet chatting. It started in Chattanooga.
All right, ladies and
That was
gentlemen,
horrible.
we're gonna put one final straw poll up for Jules, Carlos, and Tim.
I don't even know what that was.
Johan, Leviticus, and Supermarket.
In the 18th century.
Go ahead and check out that straw poll and vote for
That
your
was
favorite story.
Anachronism Central.
Oh my God! Was it Johan's coin face, Leviticus's
pretty good.
guillotine invention, or the fact that Supermarket had plenty of good internet back in the 18th century? You go ahead and vote now.
Oh God.
The winner will be uplifted vocally. We'll tell them they're great.
Is this going to be the third time you die at this thing?
Oh my God!
Who's the winner and why is it Tim?
No.
4 BPM. That is bytes per month.
Bytes per month.
I was hoping it'd be rocks per decade.
RPD.
Are you serious?
Yeah. That was good. I was riveted.
Well, I'd already planned out that story. Part of it's actually true. I'm serious. Me and Mom were sitting there one day, and we saw a guy walk out of the dumpster holding stuff under his shirt and putting it in the dumpster. We never found out what it was.
Okay, I was gonna say, if any more of that was true, did you call the police?
And he only went like 3 times. But
We found the girls and set them free. We didn't really tell anybody. We just let
Yeah,
them go. Anyway, our internet was bad back then. All right, let's go ahead and
we were still on 12 serves per
I
minute.
thought it sounded familiar. You must be
let's
following
go
me on
ahead and
Reddit.
get the poll results.
Alright, in third with 166 votes is Jules.
166 votes. It's Jules.
Still better than Josh.
Yeah.
Second with 308 votes is Carlos.
308 votes, Carlos.
And in first with 804.
Yeah.
What?
800 votes.
63% is him.
63%
You
of
guys
votes.
are way too sweet. Oh my God.
Good
All right,
story.
ladies and gentlemen, that is it for Baron Munchausen.
I was expecting to
thanks-
fail massively.
Thanks for tuning in. What is next? What is our next?
Animal
Crossing
Crossing
Amiibo Festival. So stay tuned
Amiibo
for that.
Festival.
Don't even know what that game is.
I brought some amiibos.
It's Mario Party with amiibos and no minigames.
That's not a game, Tom.
But it is, and it's coming up right next.
You better believe it.